Hi there. Welcome to our guide on starting a podcast series. My name is Jess Kertz, and I'm an education specialist on the Soundtrap team. We're so happy to have you here, and I can't wait to see what learning and creative endeavors you take on with this project. Before we jump in, I want to take a minute and celebrate you. It sounds like you're already very interested in providing some awesome content to your listeners. If you have already made some podcast episodes, perhaps you're asking yourself how to make the episodes feel more cohesive. And if you're just starting podcasting and haven't yet made any episodes, we definitely recommend that you check out Jostin's video. There, you'll learn all of the introductory tips and tricks for creating a podcast. Okay, so now you're ready to go. The most important purpose of your podcast introduction is to set the stage. You want your listener to start your podcast with a clear understanding of what you're all about. There are 3 key steps for setting the stage: creating a podcast title, scripting your introduction, and creating a soundscape. Let's start with the podcast title. As you determine what you would like to name your podcast, we recommend that you consider the following questions. What do I want my title to say about my published content? Could this title work in front of all of my episodes, or is it too specific? And lastly, is this title being used already? Ideally, we don't want anyone to confuse your podcast with another one. Next up, let's talk about your introductory audio. This is, in your own words, how you are choosing for your audience to learn about your podcast before it even begins. Here are a few questions you may wish to consider. What does my listener need to know about me, if anything, to become interested? Most podcasters are podcasting because they're passionate about a topic. So if it feels natural to introduce yourself, do it. But if you'd rather your personal information be written and attached to the podcast as a biography, that's great too. What tone of voice should I use when introducing myself? Well, if you're looking to keep things light and breezy, your introductory tone should match. If you know you're going to be hosting a podcast about meditation, it would be silly to have a booming, shouting voice to kick off probably a very relaxing episode. Think about the alignment in your voice and how it aligns to your topic. Lastly, another consideration for your introduction may be that you are working with a colleague or a classmate. If so, will each person speak their own part of the introduction, or will one voice be continuous throughout? Okay, and last, but certainly not least, is the soundscape. While it's completely okay to not have a soundscape, I highly encourage that you consider it. Sounds have an important impact on the mood that you're trying to set for your podcast series. Consider some of your favorite TV shows, movies, and podcasts. Would they be the same without the music? My guess is that your answer is no. Let's dive into some considerations, and then we'll listen to some examples. How do sounds help to enhance a story? Well, just think of a scene from a scary movie. Is there usually sounds or music playing to create suspense? Or what about a celebratory event? Are they usually silent? No, not at all. We recommend picking a few of your favorite shows and podcasts to get inspiration. Once you've done that, it's time to explore your own soundscape. Think about your content and/or the sound effects that you could use to set the stage. How will the stage be set for my podcast? Let's take a listen to what they might sound like. Hi everyone, this is Principal Smith with our Daily Dose podcast, where you get the overview of the events happening around school today. Hello, and welcome to this week's Student World News podcast, where we look at world events and get students' reactions. Welcome to this month's edition of Artists on the Rise, where we interview student artists who have big and bright futures ahead of them.
Hello, and welcome to this week's, you guessed it, Good News Friday, where we celebrate all the good news that happened this week as the school bell rings on Friday afternoon.
Now you're ready. Start by recording your introductory track. It's a good idea to practice and write it out, and then even record it a few times before adding it to your podcast series. Then, jump into the Loops library and add sounds, or if you're feeling extra creative, record your own. Lastly, edit any tracks and save your progress. We cannot wait to hear all about your podcast series and celebrate your success. Wishing you the best of luck on your creative journey.